get started, I'm casting on in multiples of 4 onto regular knitting needles. Now you don't have to cast on regular needles if you don't want to. If you're using circular needles or double pointed needles, you can cast on directly onto those. I just find it easier to do it on regular needles for the cast on row, but if you want you can just go straight to those. I'm going to transfer onto double pointed needles on the second row. I'm just going to take my yarn and cast on the number of stitches for how big I want my goods to be. This will vary depending on the size of the hand you're making for, so it's a good idea to measure beforehand. So once you've got the amount of stitches that you want, you can begin your pattern. So I'm going to transfer onto double pointed needles here. And for the first 2 rows I'm going to knit 2 and then purl 2 to the end. So now I've got 12 stitches on this needle. I'm going to transfer onto the next needle. So now I've got 12 on both, and I'm just going to use one more double pointed needle and cast the remainder on. And for me this is 8, but however many you have will depend on wool and how big you wanted your gloves to be. So now I've got to the end of the first row, I'm going to start knitting in the round. So I want to join the ends together just to make sure that I don't end up with that gap that you can sometimes get. So I'm going to use a crochet hook to pull the tail end through the beginning of my row. And I'm going to take the tail end and then the working piece of yarn and just knot them together. So now that's done, I've formed the triangle that I'm going to work from. So I'm going to take the working end of the yarn, then take my 4th needle, and I'm going to do my second row of knit 2, purl 2 all the way around. So I'm doing a knit 2, purl 2 row here just so that it stops it from curling at the ends. So now I've done the first part of the pattern that's got the knit 2, purl 2 rows, and now I'm going to start knitting every row, and this is for the section that's going to go over the fingers. So from here I'm going to be knitting round every stitch until I get to the point where I'm going to add the thumb section. So now I've completed the first section and it looks like this. And I'm going to add the thumb section. So to begin with I'm just going to knit as normal, and then when I get to the needle that has the least amount of stitches on, I'm going to add the stitches for the thumb section in the middle of those. So I'm going to add the thumb section in the middle of this row. So there's 4 stitches at either side, and the thumb section is going to be in between those. So to start with, I'm just going to knit as normal for the first 4 stitches. So once I've got an equal amount of stitches at both sides, I'm going to turn it round Now I'm going to cast on the stitches for the thumb gap. And how many you do here will depend on the size of the hand you're making for. So once you've added as many stitches as you want, you can turn your work again and then continue knitting your rows as normal. So now I've knitted from the thumb gap and I've knitted 10 rows here, and now I'm going to add a few decreases just to shape the glove a bit. You don't have to do this bit if you don't want to. If you want to skip this part, you can just continue knitting until you get to the point where you want to add your band. So I'm going to knit the centre stitches as best I can, because sometimes it will be an odd number. I'm going to take the central stitches and then knit 2 together over those. So now in the middle, I'm going to knit 2 stitches together just to create the decrease and the shaping. And then I'm going to knit the rest of the row as I normally would. And for the next row, I'm just going to knit all the way around, just 1 knit per stitch. And then on the alternate row, I'm going to do another decrease in the middle. So on this one, for however many decreases you want, you'll do every alternate row. So it'll be row 1, row 3, row 5, etc. So if you've done decreases on every alternate row, you'll end up with something that looks like this. So now you can either continue doing knit rows until you get to the point you want to add the band, or you could add it here if you wanted. So once you've got the glove, as long as you want it, you can add your band at the end. So I'm going to do it the same way that I did at the beginning, and I'm going to knit 2 and then purl 2 all the way around. And I'm going to do this for 10 rows, but you can do as many or as few rows as you want. So I'm going to knit the first 2 stitches, and then we're going to purl the next 2. I'm just going to do this all the way around. So now I've finished the band, I just need to cast off. And I'm going to be using a stretchy bind off method that I found on YouTube, which is ideal for gloves. I'm going to link to that in the description because I think they demonstrate it better than I do. But if you want to use a regular cast on method, you can use any that you want at this point. So now I've finished binding off, I'm going to take the last loop that's left over and I'm going to use a crochet hook and I'm going to attach it to the other end of the row. Just insert your hook through, pull a loop through and then pull that loop through your last loop. Then you can trim your wool and pull the tail end through to fasten off. Now I'm going to turn the glove inside out and then weave in the tail ends. You take the tail end and thread it onto my yarn needle. And then just hide this at the back of the work. And once you're done, you should end up with something that looks like this. So now you can just try your glove on. And those are your completed knitted top-down fingerless gloves.